Yeah, go through. Alright, go on through, baby.
What's up, vinyl community? It's your boy Chris coming at you live as always from the man cave. Wanted to take a quick video here late at night, almost 1 a.m. East Coast time here in here in the States, here in my little neck of the woods in South Carolina. My ladies are asleep, and just wanted to take some time to. The last video was, Noble Records finds, everything that I had found since the opening of Noble Records. And this video is going to be some more Noble Records stuff, as well as some stuff from a friend, as well as some other pickups. So worthy of a video in and of itself, I think. And seeing as how the last video was just Noble Records was over 50 minutes, I think I better get started. Hope you guys are all having a great weekend. Decided to stick with this angle at least for the time being. We'll see what we got. Alright, for starters, first things first. So you guys obviously know I'm a huge John Coltrane fan. He's my absolute favorite artist of all time, period, any genre, yada yada yada, my favorite. And so obviously for the second year in a row, unreleased Coltrane was announced via vinyl. And so obviously as soon as I got the announcement, which was the day of, I pre-ordered. And I'm expecting it to be at my front door the day after, 2 days after the release tops. Okay, so I got it 3 weeks later. I went over 2 weeks without a shipping notification whatsoever, and then finally did get it. And when I did get it, it was at my door like 3-4 days later. But it's here now. But to say that I was pissed is a gross understatement. I had this plan, for a video I wanted to do, a review and, comparisons and, to last year's release and whatnot. And, now it's been a month since the album came out. It's not worth it. It's been done. So, but anyway, I am just very thankful to have new Coltrane music. I am, but I'm done with pre-orders. Every time I do a pre-order online, it disappoints me, so I won't do it anymore. But anyway, John Coltrane's Blue World. Of course, online pre-order. The music's great. It's him and his, classic lineup, obviously, at their peak. Himself on the tenor, McCoy Tyner on the keys, Jimmy Garrison on the bass, and Elvin Jones on the sticks. It's their, it doesn't get any better. The complaints that I have are nitpicking. They really are. They're nitpicking. For one, it's an impulse release. Where's the freaking gatefold? Last year's release had a gatefold. Where is it? It's an impulse release. Where is it? Impulse all over it. Impulse era. Yes, what you're expecting. Where is it? Instead of this flimsy, sleeve. That would have been great. Some, photos on the inside, classic, impulse style gatefold, nice and sturdy. And then, obviously the back cover art, that's uninspired to say the absolute very least. Where's the old traditional impulse back? You guys know what I'm talking about. The black, the orange, the white. Where, come on, where is it? That's just, so the music's great. And for the price tag, it's absolutely worth it. So again, my complaints are nitpicky. There's absolutely, positively no doubt about it. They're nitpicky, and the music's great, and it's awesome. And especially if you're a Coltrane guy, it's absolutely worth having. But impulse, next time you get your hands on some unreleased Train, come on, guys, come with the gatefold. Come with something better. You're better than that. You really are. I cherish it. I love it. It's great. It's an awesome album. But presentation is pretty much what Impulse was founded on. They made it a point to really have their gatefolds and their jackets and their spines pop out at you. That's them from the jump. That's them before Train even signed on. And so that's important to note in my complaints about the jacket and the gatefold and the lack of a gatefold and whatnot. But anyway, definitely grab it. I did listen to it. I do love it. It's great. I highly recommend it. Just a little bit better on the presentation, guys. Next up, the All-Seeing Eye. Wayne Shorty. Blue Notes. Unfortunately, not an original pressing. It is, however, a super duper 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 super duper duper clean Liberty pressing. And I got it at a very, 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 very reasonable price. Couldn't pass on it. Spread out. Beautiful label. This one, as well as the following, Blues Walk, Lou Donaldson. This is an original mono pressing. It is freaking killer. It is wonderful stuff. It's super clean. It's Lou Donaldson on the alto, Herman Foster on the piano, Peck Morrison on the bass, Dave Bailey on the drums, and Ray Barretto on conga. It is a freaking killer album. This one I've wanted forever. The prices on it have kept going up and going up and going up and going up, so I knew I'd have to be patient. Spread out. She's a beauty, and I get offered jazz albums every single day, every day of my life. It's usually, most often, it's either stuff I already have or stuff that is just overpriced. But on this particular day, somebody had messaged me a picture of this and asked me if I was interested. I was like, well, sure, for the right price. And they were like, well, what about 100? Guys, for those of you who don't know much about this, that's unbelievably cheap. It's worth 100 if someone runs over it with a lawnmower and torches it with gasoline simultaneously. So I tried to maintain my cool and was like, sure, sounds great. Any other Blue Notes you got? And that person had then inquired about that, had told me about this one, the All-Seeing Guy with Wayne Shorter, excuse me. Told me about that one. I was like, okay, well, how much do you want, for that one? And they were like, well, 75. I'm like, okay, 75 is not unreasonable for Liberty. It's probably around about right. But I was like, what's the worst that can happen? So I sent them a message. I said, well, I'll tell you what, how about I take both of them for 150? And 30 seconds later, get a message back. You've got a deal. What's your address? I'm like, oh my God. So I felt like I'd hit the lottery that night. But the Blues Walk, of course, is a keeper permanently. The All-Seeing Eye will belong to somebody when I upgrade to that absolute first. Until then, it sounds great. It looks great. It's going to do me quite well. Next up is an album that I forgot to share with you guys in the Noble Records video, the video in which I talked about my role in opening the shop, as well as, my days running the shop, as well as, the albums I picked up on opening day and since. This was one that right before I went on the air with that video, I had just been listening to it, and because I had just listened to it, it was up here, and thus out of sight, out of mind. I didn't have it in my stack, but it's one of my favorite ones I grabbed on opening day, and I went back and rewatched it, because I always rewatch my videos once, just because, and it was like, oh man. So, Blue Mitchell, the Cupbearers, Riverside, original stereo, beautiful. Blue Mitchell on trumpet, Junior Cook on tenor, Cedar Walton on keys, Gene Taylor on bass, and Roy Brooks on the sticks. It is an original stereo pressing once again. It's killer. Awesome. Very, very happy to have it. Thanks, Dylan. Great price on that one. Next up is one that I've really, really, really been digging since I got it. I've listened to it several times. It's freaking insanely good. I had no albums by this artist just a couple weeks ago, and now I'd always wanted them, but now I really want them all. And got it from my buddy. Everything that's coming up in this stack here for a few records is from a buddy of mine, my boy, DJ Party. Heavy Soul, Quebec, original mono pressing. Bam. Freaking killer. Quebec on the tenor, Freddie Roach on the organ, Neil Hinton on the bass, Al Harwood on the drums. The name of the album, of course, Heavy Soul. It is the most appropriately titled album on Blue Note that I can think of that I have. Because it is. It's just that. His tone is lazier, is heavier, I dare say sexier. It's just, man, if you're in a moment to just mellow out and just have some heavy soul jazz sink right over top of you and really mellow you out, this is it. I spun this like 3 times back to back as soon as I got it. It's freaking insanely good. And I've added a couple Quebec since this one. I got one on the way. I'm not going to spoil what it is because it's freaking insanely good. It's major, and I don't want to spoil my next new arrivals video, but it is a grail. It is among the grails of grails for me. But just because I'm going to show off, spread out. So good. Next up, Destination Out, Jackie McLean. Bam. Major for me. Jackie McLean, top 5 on the sax for me, absolutely. This one, Krishan McCord, 3rd on trombone, Jackie. Also, obviously on the alto, Bobby Hutcherson on the vibes, Larry Ridley on bass, Roy Haynes on drums. This original mono press. The record is in great shape. Everything looks great. And the only thing that pisses me off about it, but it saved me some money, so I can't be too mad, is it has writing on it if you guys get in there nice and deep like. Yeah. The writing on the front cover is in ink pen, and it says Pig Meat Market inside this cover. I can't make that shit up, you guys. Pig Meat Market inside this cover. I don't know what the they're talking about. I don't know what this person was thinking. I don't know if they were high on something, if they were trying to be funny. And I guess, I don't know. You saved me some money on the album by writing that dumb shit on here, but every time I look at it, I'm pissed off because I think, man, you're just ruining just great artwork. But hell, I got a hell of a steal on it. And my thought is that eventually I will come across this cover without the writing on it, on hopefully an album, this beat, that I can get for a steal online, and then I'll replace the cover. But the cover's intact. Don't get it twisted. It's intact. But there's not much you can do about ink pen writing on vinyl record covers. There's some stuff you can do for Sharpies and whatnot, things of that sort. Ish. But ink pen. And by the way, for any of you, if you know anything that I don't know, by the way, about how you can do that without damaging, holler at your boy. I doubt I'd try it out on this one. This is a Blue Note. But I might would try it out on Sinatra or some shit. But anyway. Phenomenal freaking record. I listened to it, spun it. There's not a problem in the world with the wax. It's just some jackass decided to write stupid shit on the front cover. Anyway. Because that person is an idiot, I got it for a steal, so hey. Next up. Django, Modern Jazz Quartet. And it's going to, of course, be, in the memory of Django Reinhardt, obviously. But the Modern Jazz Quartet, Milt Jackson on the viols, Percy Heath on the bass, John Lewis on the piano, and Kenny Clark on the sticks. Killer album. Not that expensive a release, but something that, Modern Jazz Quartet put out good stuff, in my opinion, and none of it's particularly expensive. Pretty easy to find for the most part, at least in terms of rare jazz. Split out. Original Prestige, Bergenfield, New Jersey address. Super, super, super freaking duper clean. Next up, Modern Jazz Orchestra, featuring Kenny Drew. If I can get it out of here, I'll show you guys. There you go. This is a UK press, as you guys can tell. Look how flimsy that shit is. I don't know what it is, but thank God, at least, guys, we can take solace in the fact that knowing that as Americans, we took pride in how sturdy our album jackets are. Because look at that. Look. That's doing that, just me holding it straight up. Anyway. But The cover doesn't have any stupid ass writing on it like my Blue Mitchell did, and or anything like that. And it's in killer shape, and the record sounds great. So there's that. And I have a bunch of UK pressings. They're all the same way, and I just don't get it. But hey, this record, World Record Club, very festive, very cool. Next up. Is one that I accidentally ordered 2 of, and one of them now belongs to my buddy Corey. I gave him to him at the shop the other day. But it's an original mono pressing, Willis Jackson's Loose. Great stuff. Willis Jackson on tenor, Frank Robinson on the trumpet, Carl Wilson on the organ, Bill Jones on guitar, and Joe Hadrick on the sticks. But again, I accidentally ordered 2 of them. Already had it. Got my first copy of it a few years back. Just forgot I had it, and then got a great price for this one in bulk. Went ahead and bought it. And hey, again, my buddy Corey is now able to enjoy it for a good price, so not a loss at all. And great guy, so obviously happy to hook him up. Next up, Move, Hampton, Hawes, and Freddie Red. This one here, it's a status press. Hampton Hawes on the keys, Larry Bunker on the vibes, Clarence Jones on the bass, and Larry Marble on the drums, on the sticks. I love anything Hampton Hawes. Hampton Hawes is always great stuff. It's awesome, and great West Coast jazz. Of course, you got that status label. The wax is freaking flawless. Looks like nobody ever even played it, which is great. I hadn't had a chance to drop a needle on it, but if it looks like how it sounds, then hey, winner. Chicken dinner. Alright, next up, the following for the rest of the video are records that I've picked up at Noble Records since the opening, and then since, of course, I went back to work a couple days at the shop, and hey, found some more I had to have. So there's those, and then hey, I went back to hang out this past Friday with my daughter and my boy Corey with Dylan at the shop, and found some more. All right. First off was a major league grail for me. Major league grail for me when I was so into classic rock. But it has remained a big deal for me because even as I've gotten so deep into the jazz world, I have decided there are classic rock, blues, psych, rock, albums that I want to keep in my collection. But my rule that I've decided to make for myself is if I'm gonna have them, if I'm gonna waste the space, if I'm gonna take up the space on my shelves, I want it to be holy shit presses, only holy shit presses. No VG minus second US presses, none of that shit. No, go hard or go home is what I've decided for these albums. So when my boy Dylan at Noble Records got the following in on Thursday, was it Friday morning? Might have been Friday morning. Yeah, Friday morning. Thursday night. I don't know. Shit, I don't know. Led Zeppelin 2. Gatefold, and I know what you guys are thinking, Chris, Led Zeppelin 2, that's all you got? Hell, there's 1,000 of those in every record store you ever go to. Yeah, except for, there's this whole thing about it being a Robert Ludwig hot mix, which is the mecca for this album, really, if you think about it. There's the MoFi, there's the Japanese press. I've owned the Japanese press, I've heard the MoFi. I have long since coveted the RL hot mix, and every time I ever come across it, it is freaking destroyed. It's in terrible condition, still overpriced. But in this instance, it looks like it's, I would say, for the most part, VG plus. I got it at a great price. My boy Dylan did me a solid, and of course, I do want holy shit presses of at least half of the Zeppelin discography. Yeah. 1 through 4, Houses of the Holy, Fist Graffiti, probably Presence as well. Yeah, sure. So, but I want the best presses I can get of them. And I once had a Japanese press of every album in the discography, but I've always wanted this Robert Ludwig hot mix, and I've never been able to get a good copy for a good price. And as soon as my boy had shared with me and the guys in the group that he had it, I immediately messaged him back like, what do you want? How can I do this? Can you hold it for me? And obviously, I think it sat on his holy moly wall for 2 minutes. But this is a classic. I hope I don't have to go into too much detail, but I ain't planning on ever selling this one, but if I ever have to, I know I'll get a decent shot for it. And that's Zeppelin RL hot mix. Damn, I'm happy to have that. Next up was one I had never heard of until Friday morning. I step in the shop, do some trades, pick up some stuff. Got my daughter there with me. Step in. Dylan had popped this up. He goes, check out this Vertigo that I just got. And automatically, okay, so Vertigo, for me, I always tell people, jazz collectors, that Blue Note is a blind buy. If you don't have it, buy it. It doesn't matter if you've heard of anybody. It doesn't matter if you've heard of the lead man. It doesn't matter if you've heard of the side man. If it's on Blue Note, it's good. If it's at a good price, just freaking buy it. Don't ask questions. Just buy it. Because they didn't allow anybody to record on that label that couldn't play. Vertigo is kind of the same way for rock music. So this is one, a group that I'd never heard of, an album I'd never heard of, but Dylan throws it on in the shop. And I'm vibing out to it. I'm enjoying it. I'm like, shit, this is good. And then it gets towards the very end, and there's a jazz-esque drum solo. And I'm talking about it jazz-esque. By that meaning, Art Blakey-esque extended, drum solo. And it sounded like this guy could play jazz drums, which is very rare for a rock and roll artist, as most people would tell you. He would agree with me. It had me won over right there. So I looked at him. And he looks at me because he knows he just made a sale. That man knows my ears better than I know my ears, I think, sometimes. And I said, okay, man, how much do you want? And he told me what he wanted. I took it home with me. Warhorse, Red Sea. I hate these covers, by the way. These sleeves right here, these sleeves, those deserve to die a slow, painful death. I hate those as much as I hate shrink wrap. Anyway, Warhorse, Red Sea. On Vertigo, freaking killer record. You guys ready? Well, let's get that gatefold. Gatefold. You guys ready? I know you are. Splow! Gorgeous, 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 gorgeous Vertigo label. Pick up my stupid sleeve off the ground. This will no doubt be trash later. But again, Warhorse Red Sea on Vertigo. It is effing killer. I highly recommend it to anybody that's had a lot of success on Vertigo lately. With the Sabbath Vertigo, this one as well, a couple of others. This is, yeah, man. I can't wait till the next time I throw this one on. It is yet to appear on the turntable in my house. So far, it's just been played at Noble Records, but that's coming soon. A little late at night. It's after 1 a.m. on the East Coast. Daughter's room, unfortunately, is right across the way from the man cave. A little late at night to crank Warhorse Vertigo. So, it is what it is. Maybe I'll get a chance tomorrow. Anyway, next up, Early Art Farmer. This one was a big deal for me. This one's on Prestige, New Jazz. It is effing killer. Obviously, Art Farmer is awesome. Art Farmer on the trumpet, Sonny Rollins on the tenor on A2, 3, and 4. Horace Silver's on the keys on A2, 3, 4, 5. Percy Heath's on the bass. Kenny Clark, Wynton Kelly, Addison Farmer. Herbie Lavelle on the sticks on A1 on side B. It's great stuff. It's, nice collection. Very, very, very sturdy jacket in great shape. Nice glossy cover. Of course, it's a status label, but you'll have that, especially with some of the during the convert. Sometimes what you'll have is you'll have a status cover, and then you'll have an original Prestige label, or you'll have a Prestige cover, and then you'll have a status label. And it happens. I've got some that go both ways, but just the fact that that this is technically a Status label, but Status appears nowhere on this jacket or anything like that. Just that, no doubt, drove the price down. So I'll take it for the time being. Because, I mean, hell, it's Art Farmer, Sonny Rollins, Horace Silver, Wynton Kelly, yada, 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 yada. It's great. I'm excited to have it. And Dylan had a great price on it, as always. Next up, the compositions of Thelonious Monk. I got one of these, similar to these, on opening day. Here goes another one of these fucking things. These, that's so inconvenient. Anyway, the compositions of Thelonious Monk. I got one for Benny Golson on opening day. And these compositions are played by Cannonball Adderley, Thelonious Monk, Wes Montgomery, Eddie Lockjaw Davis, and Johnny Griffin, Gary Mulligan, and Junior Mance. I always like these album covers. They're so cool for these comp albums. Riverside, split out. Gorgeous. I really don't even want to put it back in this because it'll just piss me off the next time I get it out of here again. But anyway. Monopress also, by the way, if I didn't say that. Next up is one that it's a cheapie. It's always been a cheapie, but it was one that I wanted for a couple reasons. Number one, because it's Cannonball, and number two, because it's recorded in Tokyo. Number three, because it's got awesome artwork, album cover work, and then it's got Yusuf Lateef on it. So for me, this was a no-brainer, no-lose situation for Nippon Soul, or Nippon Soul, I don't know how you say that. It's Julian Cannonball Adderley, recorded in concert in Tokyo. I've wanted it for quite some time. It's on Riverside. This is a stereo press. Splat out. Cannonball on the alto, his brother Nat on the cornet, Yusuf Lateef on the flute, oboe, and tenor sax, and Joe Zawinul on the keys, Sam Jones on the bass, and Louis Haynes on the sticks. It is a very, 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 very stellar session in my opinion, and of course recorded in concert in Tokyo. I've never heard it on vinyl. I've heard the album before, obviously, and I'm looking forward to spinning it on wax. And Dylan had $10 on this, guys. I mean, I can't walk away from that. How the hell could I walk away from that? All right, next up is an album, another prime example of one that he threw on in the shop while we were getting everything together, while we were getting everything organized, while we were getting everything prepared for the grand opening. I had never heard of the album ever in my life, but Dylan knows this about me. For as much of a jazz guy as I am, he knows I like good Psych. I do. I like good Psych. And he throws this one on, and the solos are freaking killer, and it's awesome. And everything like that. But I had such a stack on opening day that I was like, okay, keep me in mind, when you get another one. Because in my mind, I just knew he was going to sell this on opening day. Well, he didn't. And then the days I came in and ran the shop, it was still there. And I spun it another time. Still loved it. It's like, okay. After the second day consecutively that I ran the shop, I had told Dylan, I said, if I come back in here, the next time I make it back in here, if this is still on the wall, I'm taking it home. There's just, it deserves to not be sitting on a wall. It deserves to be in someone's collection, being loved and enjoyed for how awesome it is. And so I did. May Blitz, freaking killer. Take a look at that album cover. Very interesting, very festive, obviously. Gatefold. But I don't know much of anything at all about May Blitz, about the album. I really don't. But I know good music when my ears hear it. And so, hey, it sounds effing killer, and now it's in my collection forever. Yeah, so, May Blitz. Can't wait to give it a proper run through on my system in here. Sure as hell sounded great in the shop, I know that. Next up, okay. So, you know how you know when you go to a record store and you've got that owner of the record store that just goes above and beyond in terms of customer service? So I'm in Noble Records. My daughter says she has to use the restroom, which of course Noble Records has one. Plug. That's a big plus for a record store. So I take her in, and there was this album I had been talking about before I went in. I come out, talk to the guys a little bit, glance out at my car, and find this sticking inside the doorway. Slim Whitman, just for you. Alright, so anyway, Dylan had gotten this box of new arrivals or trade-ins or whatever, and this was in there. And I just started ripping on this guy, talking about, making fun of how he looks and, everything like that. And cutting all kinds of probably inappropriate jokes, which I might share a couple with you in a minute. I don't know. We'll see. Some of them are probably, I don't know. We'll see. So anyway, the guys were laughing. We were all laughing. And I take my daughter to the bathroom, and I come back, and look out, and it's sticking in my window because Dylan had apparently tried to break into my car. While I was in the bathroom, except for I locked the doors because I'm not stupid. So I just stuck it in the door. So jokes was on you. I was like, I got out there and I just grabbed it and waved at him like, yeah, thank you, and handed it to my daughter, and she played with it all the way up the road. There'll be pictures. And so it's in my house now. It'll never be listened to other than sheer morbid curiosity, no freaking doubt. But the guy's name is Slim Whitman. The name of the album is Just For You, and apparently he wants you to know that it is new. And it's got one of those, advertisement type deals on the back, so I don't know if this is a freaking comp. I don't know what the hell this is. Anyway, Liberty Records. Okay. Blue Note when delivered. I don't know. Flimsy jacket. This guy looks like he has no doubt stumbled outside of a bar in the afternoon when he didn't realize what time of the day it was, and no doubt took an unsolicited drunken leak in a kid's playground outside of an elementary school. No doubt. He definitely looks like he ended up on someone's sex offenders list. No doubt. He looks like the kind of guy who goes to a family reunion trying to get laid. I apologize, guys. This is in poor taste, I know, but I'm just having fun with it. Slim Whitman actually, upon further research, come to find out, opened for Elvis way back in the day. But anyway, I didn't know that, didn't know anything about him. Yeah. He had contributed a song to the movie Mars Attacks, but I've never seen that movie, nor do I care to. So, anyway, for those of you holding family reunions this year, if you see this guy, call the authorities. I don't know what to say. I've been too ridiculous. Anyway, but I'll save the record for my wife's art project, or to be one of the records that I'll allow my daughter to put her fingers all over. I don't know, whichever, because she's obviously not allowed to touch any of the jazz stuff. So anyway, that is the kind of loving, caring customer service you get when you go to Noble Records, Matthews, North Carolina. Tell Dylan the tunes from the Man Cave. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, cheers. Hope you guys are having a great weekend. Let me wrap this up before it gets into 50 minutes, because everybody knows I can shoot the shit with the best of them. Till next time. Till next video. Keep dropping that to you guys. Are those good chips, sweetheart? Do you like chips? What are we going to go do?
A slide.
That's right, we're going to go slide. Are we going to ride the big slide?
Yeah.
Yeah, the biggest slide.
Please slide.
Yeah, the big girl slide.
Big girl slide.
That's right.
A big one.
That's right, you're a big girl.